Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We start off with our top story. According to a report by Indian Express, Twitter has informed Karnataka High Court that the Union Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has directed Twitter to take down 175 tweets and more than 1,474 accounts from February 2021 to February 2022. Now, in its petition, Twitter said that the ministry had been ordering it to block entire accounts without informing it about the specific tweets that necessitated such action. The petition said, and I quote, "Several of the URLs contain political and journalistic content. Blocking of such information is a gross violation of the freedom of speech guaranteed to citizen users of the platform," end quote. Now, the centre had also asked Twitter to remove posts related to farmers' protests, tweets about the centre's mishandling of COVID, among others, according to Twitter. On Tuesday, of course, Twitter had moved the High Court, seeking the quashing of orders for blocking 39 of these links. The notices and blocking orders under contention have been sent under Section 69A of the Information Technology Act. Meanwhile, as far as Maharashtra's politics goes, in his first public address after his government fell, former Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray demanded mid-term elections in the state, saying that people should be allowed to take a decision on the toppling of the previous MVA government led by him. Now, he said, and I quote, "I challenge them to hold assembly elections today. If we have done wrong, people will send us home. And if this is what you had to do, then you should have done it 2.5 years ago, and it would have been done respectfully. There would be no need for all of this to happen," end quote. Now, he also said that the bow and arrow symbol will always remain with the Sena and no one can take it away from the party. In the meantime, Uddhav Thackeray's faction has approached the Supreme Court against Maharashtra governor's decision to invite Eknath Shinde to form the government. The matter is going to be heard on the 11th of July. Now, as many as 32 former Shiv Sena corporators from Navi Mumbai have met with Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and extended their support to him. And this comes after 66 of the party's corporators from Thane joined Shinde's camp as well. In the meantime, the Supreme Court has granted interim bail to Alt News co-founder Mohammed Zubair for 5 days in an FIR registered by the Sitapur police in Uttar Pradesh for calling 3 Hindutva supremacist hate mongers in a tweet. Now, a condition for the bail is that he cannot post any tweets. Now, the interim bail will be effective from till the 12th of July, which is the next date of hearing. Now, Mr. Zubair, however, will remain in judicial custody because there's a separate FIR that's been registered by the Delhi police after a Twitter handle had taken objection to a tweet posted by him in 2018. Now, Mr. Zubair had moved to the Supreme Court after the Allahabad High Court had last month refused to quash the FIR filed against him by the Uttar Pradesh police. All 3 sayers have been booked in hate speech cases in the past few months for making inflammatory statements about Muslims. Now, after Germany's foreign ministry reacted sharply to Mohammed Zubair's arrest, foreign ministry spokesperson Arindam Bakshi has said that it is an internal issue. Now, Germany's foreign ministry had earlier said, and I quote, "Free reporting is beneficial to any society and restrictions are a cause for concern. Journalists should not be persecuted and imprisoned for what they say and write. We are indeed aware of this specific case and our embassy in New Delhi is monitoring it very closely," end quote. To this, India has said it's an internal issue. Also, China has criticized Prime Minister Narendra Modi for greeting the Dalai Lama on his 87th birthday, saying India has to fully understand the separatist nature of the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader and it should stop using Tibet-related issues to interfere in China's internal affairs. Now, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, and I quote, "Tibet-related affairs are China's internal affairs and group no interference by any external forces," end quote. To this, New Delhi, of course, rejected China's criticism over Prime Minister Modi's birthday greetings to the Dalai Lama, asserting that it is a consistent policy of the government to treat the Tibetan spiritual leader as an honored guest. Also, the Enforcement Directorate has imposed a fine of 51.72 crore rupees on Amnesty India International and 10 crore rupees on the Human Rights Organization's chair, Aakar Patel, for allegedly violating the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Now, it has also issued a show cause notice of penalty on Patel and Amnesty India International. According to PTI, ED has said that Amnesty International UK was remitting a large amount of funds from abroad through its Indian entities. This was done to evade the Foreign Contribution of Regulation Act. Moving on to business news right now, international food prices have fallen for a third consecutive month in June. The UN Food and Agricultural Organization's food price index averaged 154.2 points in June, down from 157.9 in May, 158.4 in April, and the record of 159.7 points in March, scaled immediately after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This could potentially offer some respite to strained households. Let's now take a look at what's making news across the world. Former Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated in Nara today while campaigning for the upcoming election. The incident occurred at around 11:30 a.m. When Abe was making a campaign speech. Now, he was shot twice, and the police said that a 41-year-old man suspected of carrying out the shooting had been arrested. Now, he was rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead after about 5 hours. Now, NHK quoted the suspect as telling police that he was dissatisfied with Abe and wanted to kill him. Police officials have said that the suspect in the assassination of the former prime minister used a handmade gun. In fact, Japan's current prime minister, Fumio Kishida, has said that he is lost for words describing Abe as a personal friend. Moving on to sports news right now, Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from the Wimbledon semi-final match because of injury. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday, he said, and I quote, "I have to pull out of the tournament. As everybody saw yesterday, I've been suffering from pain in the abdominal area. That's confirmed. I have a tear in the muscle. It doesn't make sense to play. Injury will get worse," he added. And one piece of good news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin. Indian origin Gita Gopinath has become the first woman and second Indian to feature on the wall of former chief economists of the International Monetary Fund. Now, the first Indian to achieve the honor was Raghuram Rajan, who was chief economist and director of research of IMF between 2003 and 2006. Gopinath was appointed as IMF Chief Economist in October 2018 and was later promoted as the IMF's first Deputy Managing Director in December last year. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.